Hey there, good morning everyone. Tuesday the 30th of May 2023. This morning's devotional is a reading from Acts chapter 27 verse 31, and it reads, Then Paul said to the centurion and the soldiers, Unless these men stay with the ship, you cannot be saved. When you experience problems, difficulties or hurts in life, they can either make you better or bitter. You have the choice. You can either grow up or give up. You can become who God wants you to be, or you can become hard-hearted. When you go through difficult times, what happens to you is not nearly as important as what happens in you. Remember, you will take your character with you into eternity and not your circumstances. And how you respond to life's unfairness is entirely up to you. That's why we need to decide what we are going to do. Acts chapter 27 teaches us 3 responses to avoid in times of trials, and from them we can learn how God wants us to respond instead. So number 1, don't drift, stay focused. Acts 27 verse 15 reads, The ship was caught by the storm and could not head into the wind, so we gave way to it and were driven along. You see, the ship carrying Paul and other prisoners to Rome was in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, and they hadn't seen the sun for a number of days, and so they couldn't get any bearings, and they started to drift. When some people face difficulty, they start drifting through life. They have no goal, purpose, ambition, or even dream. Today we call this coasting or freewheeling. The problem with coasting or freewheeling is that you only do this when you are headed downhill. Life is not a coast, it's tough. Don't lose your ambition or your dream when life gets hard. Number 2, don't throw away, hold on. Acts 27 verse 18 reminds us, We took such a violent battering from the storm that the next day they began to throw the cargo overboard. You see, the men in charge, they needed to make the ship lighter, and so they started throwing their cargo overboard, followed by the tackle and the food. Because the storm was so overwhelming, they were discarding things that they needed. When you get into a storm and stress becomes unbearable, you may also start abandoning values and relationships that you would normally hold on to in better times. You might say, well, I'm giving up on my marriage, or I'm giving up on my dream. Stay with the ship. God uses difficult situations to change people. It's seldom God's will for you to run away from a difficult situation. God wants you to learn, to grow, and to develop, and He is there with you all the time. Number 3, don't despair, hope in God. Acts 27 verse 20 reads, We finally gave up all hope of being saved. After numerous days and after having given up their cargo, tackle and food, the passengers finally gave up hope. But they'd forgotten one thing. Even in a storm, God is in control. He hasn't left you. You may not feel Him, but if you feel far from God, well, guess who's moved? Because He hasn't, He is still there. My dear friends, God is with you in the storm, and He will help you through it. And on the other side of the storm, you'll find that He has grown your character and deepened your faith. May the Lord be with you. May He bless you. May He cause His face to shine upon you and be with you always. Goodbye.